Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. I hope all of you are doing well. And in this video tutorial, I will discuss about the final exam reviews. Okay, so let me log into Blackboard. Okay, so let me show you what will be on the final exam for COSC 1301. Okay, so let's go to, where is it, right? Here is my class. Let's go to COSC 1301. Okay. The final exam consists of Make Basic, right? Let me see here. Well, I cannot see it, so I need to do it from here. Uh, the final exam consists of Make Basic, Internet Basic, Make Basic, Internet Safety, and Internet Safety for Kids, right? There are 50 questions, multiple choice. Once you started, the exam must be completed in one setting. All right. So let me see. The material is from this GCF Global. This is a GCF Global, right? So let me find out here. Internet Basic, right? This is Internet Basic. Uh, Internet Safety for Kids, and Mac, right? Mac Basics. Okay, so these are the material, right? So I hope that student uh, will prepare to study and review this material thoroughly, right? Before you click the exam, okay? Because final exam weighed a lot of points. So please take your time and schedule uninterrupted study time. That way you can stay focused preparing for the final exam. Okay, so what are some of the questions that you expect? Let me review a little bit of Mac, right? Here in Mac, you need to familiar with some of this keyboard, right? Uh, Most of us probably are Windows user, including me, myself, right? So I'm a Windows user. I also use Mac once in a while. So the best way to get fluent on the Mac operating system is by practice, right? By using it and practice it. It's like language, right? When you learn the language, but if you don't use it, sometimes you may forget on or lose it maybe over time, right? So here some of the example questions. For example, on the Mac, the short combination of underline on the selected text is how you do that, right? So we do command and U, command and U, right? Remember in Windows we have Control Alt Delete, right? Control Alt Delete. Here in Mac keyboard we have Control Option and Command, right? So remember that the difference between uh, PC keyboard and a Mac keyboard. In Mac, they have Control, Option, and Command, right? Another example, on the Mac OS, the shortcut combination to do paste is Command V, right? Command V, okay? On the Finder, right? On the Finder, uh, the shortcut blank that will select all the file. When you select all the file is what? Command A, right? In Windows, right, we use this one, select all, right? I usually use Control A. That's how I use that in Windows, right? In Windows, in PCs, I use Control A, right? But in Mac, we use Command plus A keyboard at the same time, Command and A, right? So these are some of the example of the exam. Of course, this is not just, of course, this is just a sample of that. You can find more detail in here to review all these materials, right? I hope that student had review or had studied this in the previous week, right? In the previous week, since this is final, so you just have to refresh again your memory, hopefully, right? Because if you just review, it's a little bit easier to prep for the course, right? Uh, what else we need to know here, right? How to backup, right? A blank is a backup file that automatically to external hard drive, right? Well, in Mac, if you want to do a backup, there is a tool called Time Machine, right? Time Machine tools. Let me show it to you so you understand what is Time Machine. Time Machine in Apple, right? That way you can see that, right? Here, Time Machine. Yeah, Time Machine. I wish I can make it bigger, right? No. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Hold on, okay? Time Machine. Here we go. This may be better to see. That one. Time Machine. This is the tools, right? Uh, Normally, if student cannot afford to lose the data, you need to do a backup on regular basis. For a company, when I used to work for a freight forwarding company in Los Angeles, I have to do a backup every day, right? At 10 o'clock p.m., I do a regular backup, right? I do the I did the backup Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday. Sometimes it's a weekly backup too, right? So if you work for an enterprise organization, you need to do a daily backup and then a weekly backup, right? For individual users, perhaps you can do a backup once a week, right? Once a week or twice a week. But if you do a lot of work every day, perhaps it's better, it's a good idea that you do a daily backup. Okay? So that is time machine, right? How to italize, right? Command I to italize the selected files, right? Command I, that's to italize, right? So these are some of the questions, right? Of course, this is not an exhaust, it's an exhaustive list, right? So troubleshooting, right? You also need to know some of the troubleshooting, right? Troubleshooting a blank screen, right? How you do a general, what are some of the general concept of troubleshooting, right? Well, normally when you do troubleshoot, make sure that you read the error message, right? Because sometimes when uh, let me see if they have some here we go. Troubleshooting common problem, right? Sometimes when you receive an error message, the message will tell you what we need to do, right? If your computer gives you an error message, be sure to write down as much as information as possible. You may use you may use this information later to find out about what other people are having the same error. For example, while I'm doing this lecture, if there is an error message, I usually read that carefully. Oh, you cannot print because you're running out of paper. Then you need to check to the printer, make sure that there is available paper for you to print, right? So these are some common sense and common practice that users need to do. But sometimes uh, they are panicky, right? Oh, why it give me a blue screen of that, or why I cannot print, and he or she just click OK. Well, that's not the good things, because sometimes, like I mentioned to you earlier, the message will give you some explanation what's the problem and what's the solution, right? So these are some basic troubleshooting skills, right? check your cable and the power. Sometimes the cable is loose, right? If the cable is loose or the power is not on, of course you cannot, your PC, your computer or PC cannot function, right? So these are some of the common ones. Take note about the error message. Always check the cable and the powers, right? And after that, you need to think what's the solution, right? Normally, when someone work in the technical support area or in the IT support system, they will troubleshoot. Uh, they will give priority to the application that affected the most people, right? They put priority on them, right? They put priority to prioritize which user that need to help first. Okay, so all right, so check the cable, take an error message, and once you have the solution, make sure you write down the step or take a note, because you may experience another similar issue, maybe not exactly, but at least you have some idea. Troubleshooting requires some experience and skills. So if you are new to the application or to the computer, for example, Mac, then it may take some time to 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 get fluent on this. That's why many companies they like to hire uh, people that have at least 6 months internship or at least 1 years of experience, because they may not have the time to train you. But uh, at least you have some good foundation, okay, about the technology or the computer. And once in a while, you may need to restart the computer, right? When all else fails, right? One of the best thing is sometimes to restart the computer. So basically, the computer or the Mac, right? They release all the memory problems and restart again, right? So restart the computer sometime, that can be a good things to do, right? Uh, we also need to unplug the cables, right? To discharge all the static, right? When you shut down the computer, start, for example, start, and let me see, start, shut down, right? Once you shut down, leave it for 5 to 10 seconds, unplug the cable for a few seconds and plug in again, and you start the computers, right? So these are some of the troubleshooting techniques, right? Okay. Uh, if window, if a window has been minimized and hidden from the view, can you make it visible again by clicking the icon? Yes, I can minimize this and then I open again. If you notice that I have so many windows here at the bottom, right? I'm doing this recording. I'm open my browser. I have my WhatsApp message and I have my review here, my review notes. So if a window has been minimized or hidden from the view, you can make it visible again. That's true, right? Make sure you know the difference between copy file and a move file, right? When you move a file, the file, when you move a file, that means it delete from the original place. You cannot see them again on the original place. But when you copy a file, you make a duplicate to another, to another, to another location. All right. So copy and move. Make sure you know the difference. Phishing, scam, right? Spam and computer hacking. Make sure you know what is this, right? Phishing basically people try to trick you to give sensitive information, right? Spam is basically unwanted emails, right? Hacking, when people hack into somebody else's system or computer. Virus, worm, and malware, make sure you know the definition and the concept about this, right? Uh, Virus spread from file to file, they infected the file. Worm is spread computer to computer, right? And malware is called malicious software. There are a lot of malicious software nowadays, right? What cookies? Cookies is basically a small program that keep track on your browsing history, right? Browsing history. For example, when I open my browser here, for example, I visit www.walmart, right? .com. Well, after I visit this website, they place a small cookies here. Let me see if I can find it here, right? Cookies, securities. Here we go. Cookies, right? They have cookies here, right? Allows cookie. Sometimes if you disable this, if you disable cookies, they are not allow you to visit the website. So you may need to you need to allow all cookies. Otherwise, some website they disallow you to have that. Right? So cookies, block all cookies, see all data. Yeah, here we go. The cookies, right? I click here. I have all the cookies here. If I clear it, then it start fresh again. Because when you visit to a website, they save like a small program there, right? They have a cookies here, right? These are some of the site that. Okay. So here cookies computer, right? Here is a definition of cookies, right? Cookies is a text file with a small of with small pieces of data. For example, like your username and password, right? Or your browsing history. Okay. It's a text file with a small piece of data, such as your username and password. Okay. All right. So these are some of the review, right? Uh, Cyber criminals, right? Cyber criminal, make sure you know what cyber criminal or cyber security, right? Cyber criminals sometimes they set up a blank with common names like free Wi-Fi or public Wi-Fi, right? To get you to connect to illegitimate network. Well, this is called raw network, right? Or raw Wi-Fi. You need to be careful when you go to the public place because sometimes you think that this is a legitimate Wi-Fi. However, there may be a raw network, right? So we need to be really careful with that because they can smooth because they can uh, do a forensic analysis on your browsing activities if you don't care if you are not careful. Broadband access and narrowband. Make sure you know the difference. Broadband is a high-speed internet access. Narrowband is a slow-speed internet access. Nowadays, most of the internet connection are broadband. For example, DSL, cable, satellite, right? All of those things are considered broadband access, right? So make sure you know the difference. Browser and search engine, right? Browser is a program, right? This is a tools. Search engine is a tools to look for information, right? Like Bing, Yahoo, and Google. Browser is a software, is a program like Firefox, Internet Explorer, right? And Google Chrome, even now, Microsoft, they retire the end of the Internet Explorer. Now they call it Microsoft Edge, right? So cyberbully, right? Some of these terms you may need to learn and reviews. Okay, so here is just some brief overview about what you should learn and study for the final exam. As I mentioned to you, please review the material from GCF Global, right? Uh, internet safety for kid, Mac, and what else? Internet basics, right? So these are some of the material for you for the exam. Make sure that you check the deadline. When is the last day to take final? I have many different sections. For example, I have a dual enrollment section, which is on Monday. But for online, I believe I put it December 6th on Tuesday. All right. Uh, Once you finish the final exam, I will finalize the grade book. So please be patient because I have over 100 students this semester, right? Maybe by Friday, maybe by Sunday or Monday on the 12th, you can check your grade. I usually add a few points to the course grade at the end of the semesters. Okay, so hopefully that will help you. Let's say that you are 79 or 78 and a half, 79.5, for example. Well, I usually round it up to 80. 79.00, I usually round it up to 80. So I usually add a few points to all students at the end of the semesters. Well, hopefully that this video is informative to you and help you to what to expect on the final. And good luck and thank you very much and happy holidays. Bye bye.